Welcome back to Wild Space, everybody. I am here today to talk to you a little bit about regionals, and there's been some discussion of the way FFG has handled things, and is there things they can be doing better. And sometimes we, as gamers and human beings, we always think like, the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. Why can't we? Why can't our company run things more like this other company? Well, recently I was at a Riftbound regional event, and I have been to Star Wars regionals, and so I thought, hey, let's talk a little bit about some of the comparisons, and then we can really, evaluate if there's areas that can be improved or where they're doing well. So. I went to the Vancouver Regional because it was close. I dabble in other card games. Riftbound's a fine game. I'm familiar with the IP, but Star Wars is my main game. So bias on the table. I am a Star Wars player first and foremost. As far as how both events were set up, it's pretty standard. I think there's the main event going on, and then you can get some tickets for like competitive, more competitive focused side events, or there's these on-demand casual side events. And for both of the events that I was at, Milwaukee and Vancouver, it was the same format, same structure, same options available to the players there, whether you were there competing or whether you were there, hanging out and playing Star Wars in a more casual environment. So not much to discuss. As far as the atmosphere goes, I think I would have to give it to the Riftbound Regional just on the amount of fan interaction. As far as the companies went, I think FFG does a great job, or I guess the companies that run them in Europe. I think it's Fanfinity, and in North America, it's oh no, I can't even remember. Anyway, regardless, I'm sure FFG provides them with the banners and stuff, and so when you walk in, there's all this cool stuff. And both of the setups were very similar. You have these big scrolling banners of the main characters, and then you've got kind of an entranceway and lots of decorations. So I don't think that either one has an edge there, but you can tell that there is like a demographic difference at the two events. And at the Riftbound event, there was way more young people, and they were way more like passionate about the IP. You know, I think lots of the people that are at the Star Wars events, they love Star Wars, but they're past the age where they're gonna go in a cosplay, right? Whereas at the Riftbound event, we played one team in the 3v3 side event, and at the end of it, they're like, "Oh, we just got beat by the Unks," and me and my buddies are looking around like, "Oh, is that us? Are we the Unks?" Like, "Oh yeah, I guess we're in our 40s, and everybody here is in their 20s." But when you sit down at the table, in your head, you're like, "Oh yeah, we're both gamers," and whatever. At least I still feel like we're the same age, but. So yeah, I think in some of the European events I have seen more like cosplay happening maybe than the North American events. So maybe it's a wash at some of them. But on the whole, probably again pretty similar. I would maybe give if you're someone that's wanting to go and like get your picture taken with all these people in costume, there was just tons and tons of people in like really elaborate costumes. So that part was pretty cool. As far as the execution goes, I think in most areas I would give the edge to Star Wars Unlimited. The judging was a real problem at the Riftbound event. Part of this is due to the fact that it's a newer game and it's a more complicated game from a rules perspective, because they have like the instant speed reaction and it creates all these weird timing windows. But they needed so many judges and they just couldn't fill it, so they just had people in t-shirts. So I played in one kind of more competitive event on the Friday night, and at one point I made a judge call, knowing the ruling in the interaction, and the first judge that comes didn't know, so they went and got another judge. They didn't know either. They went and got the head judge, or not the head judge, one of the higher level judges who had the different colored shirts. He comes over and gives the opposite ruling, and so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I've been playing it wrong. I didn't want to make a big stink about it. Fine, no problem. It's not super serious. Anyhow, he walks away. We go to start continuing the turn. He comes back like a minute later. He's like, actually, I just talked to some other people and I was wrong. You were right. And so it was fine. We kind of rewound a couple actions, and it worked out okay. But that was pretty consistent throughout the weekend. It didn't matter if you were playing casual, competitive. They obviously had like more of the experienced judges at the competitive tables, but this was a Friday night event, so like the event that I was in was the competitive event for the night. And so that was kind of whereas I've never had that experience in Star Wars. Like most of the time, the judge is going to know the ruling. If they don't know, they're going to get a second guy who is going to know the ruling, or a second guy or girl, second judge. And so, yeah, who knows? Maybe that's growing pains. Maybe it'll get better with time, but judges of Star Wars, we appreciate you. As far as joining events, it's a lot easier at the Star Wars regionals. You can come up if you want to join an event. You can pay. You can join the event or give them a ticket or whatever you need to. At the Riftbound event, they had like time gated everything on the Eventbrite website. So like unless it was strictly on demand, you just couldn't get in. Like there was a draft that there was seats. There was a pod of like 6 and a pod of 9 and a pod of 7, and we had one guy who was like, hey, can I get in there? And they were like, oh, I don't know, maybe let's try and see if we can get you in. But there was like nobody in the arena would take his money to let him join this event that was going to fire. And so that was a little bit frustrating, but I understand if they're trying to do everything automated through their website and whatnot. But Star Wars, I've never seen that happen most of the time, unless the event is started for these side event things. If you want to join, you can get in and join. For the time frames, I know there have been instances in the past where judge calls and like time has kind of slowed down the round times, but is nothing nothing like the Riftbound regional. At Milwaukee, I think at the end of the main event, we were like maybe an hour and a half over the expected end time. And at Vancouver, the main event ran, I think, like 5 hours over the round time. So like just because I think it's two things are happening there. One, the judge calls take longer because the rules aren't known as well. So then guys are getting like, in that one match where I said we had to go through 3 judges and they came back, we had like a 20-minute extension on our match at the end of the round. The game is also a little more complicated, so there's a lot more time where matches are going to time and people are playing it out. And then their end of round procedures, you get turns, kind of like you do in Magic, but people can then have no time limit on those turns. So they're trying to edge out a win, and they might take 30 minutes to play, 3 turns. So it was crazy. I could not believe. I was really glad I was not playing in the main event. I would have been so frustrated. The one area where I would give the edge to Riftbound was they didn't have any missing, promos. Actually, that's not true. They did have missing promos, but they got them to people within the weekend. Whereas I'm still waiting for Black Packs from Milwaukee. It's been a while. And didn't get to buy the Black Packs that I wanted to buy. Anyway, but overall, Star Wars will give the advantage. Great judges. Thank you for all your work. As far as prizing goes, overall, I would call it a tie. I guess it depends on what type of player you are, where your preference would be with this. For the high-end prizing, if you are a competitive player, Riftbound is the game to be playing, I think. They have, in the picture there, these are the metal-plated holofoil legends that are available for the top of clan winners, or sorry, top of leader. So if you're the best leader for every leader in the event, you get one of these crazy cards that sell for anywhere from 10 to 30 grand US, which is just like, and obviously that's not just because the prizes are so much better. Obviously, it's how big the game is and the IP is, and there's way more collectors for League than there is for Star Wars as far as like high end collectors go. Um, but I think there are things that FFG could do to help that, like uh, the they do give out showcases if you are the top finishing leader, but you have to be in the top 64. Riftbound, there's no limit, even people that didn't make day two. So sometimes people, it really diversifies the meta because sometimes people play a terrible deck just to try and go like 5-3, not qualify for day two, but still be, top of their character. Um, but yeah, the showcases are like so low value, and you can get them in packs. So if FFG changed those top of character prizes to be like a little more interesting, these like plated metal leaders are hefty in your hand. They feel really cool. Um, then maybe that would help with some of the competitive players and getting a little bit more return on investment. But the downside of the regional in Vancouver for Riftbound was if you did not get like top 128, you essentially got nothing. Like you got nothing for joining the event, and you got nothing unless you made top 128. So it is really boom or bust in the main event. And even for their prize wall on the side event, they had these metal legends that were not the holofoil ones, so still really cool. That were like 40 tickets, and then that was the only thing worth buying on the prize wall. So if you got like 10 tickets, unless you were working together with multiple people, which fortunately, yeah, there was 3 of us, we could get a couple of them over the weekend. But if you go there by yourself and you just do some events and you end up with 10 tickets, you go up to the prize wall and you can get nothing. Like there's a playmat that is way overpriced as far as tickets cost. Or sleeves, things you can buy in store for way cheaper. Pins were like the other unique thing that you could get on their prize wall, but that's such a niche thing, and they were still like crazy expensive compared to, getting these cool meta legends. Whereas Star Wars, the events do a really good job of making sure that, even if you don't do well in the main event, you're going to get some packs, black packs, and crack them open and get some cool promos to take home to your play group or just for your own collection. Or even if you grind casual side events, for the weekend, or not grind, play in some casual side events and you have a few tickets, you can go up and get, some of the prize wall promos that are cool and different. And you can kind of say, hey, look, I've been to the regional. Whereas at the Riftbound regional, there was really nothing like that aside from these metal cards, which were like the high end pricing. So yeah, if you're like casual or mid level player, you're not making the cut to top 64. The Star Wars regionals are way better as far as pricing goes and opportunity goes. So I believe that was everything I wanted to talk about. So in the end, if you are a Star Wars player, I think there are some things to be grateful of as far as our judging community and the prize opportunities for the larger portion of the attendees that are going to these events. If you're a competitive player, maybe it looks a little better on the other side of the fence. But who knows? Maybe FFG will make some adjustments to to kind of the top end pricing. And I know for Worlds this year, they already have announced like much more, much different layers of pricing as you work your way up kind of the main event. So we'll see. Maybe that's a change that'll be welcomed by competitive players. And if you're a Riftbound player and you are not a top 128, day 2 type player, but you want to go to a big event and earn some cool stuff, maybe check out Star Wars. It's a fun game, cool events, cool prizes. All right, until next time, may the Force be with you all. Take care.